Welcome back to Pancake FC, the YouTube channel named after the fantasy team named after my dog. Today, we are looking back at how my team fared last week and then building my team for game week 16. I'm as always joined by Pancake. She just got about a 15-minute exercise, so she's going to need to take a 4-hour recovery nap. But if you do hear any dog or dog-related noises over the audio, you know the source. If you do enjoy this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. For every person who does so, Pancake gets an extra treat. So let's go ahead and get into how my week went last week. We'll start with the goalkeepers and move on from there. I was one of the unlucky few who got screwed over by the weather delay in New York. That last second Charlotte goal really messed my week up because then I faded Hugo Lloris and went with Coronel. He did, however, get the clean sheet in the second game, which was good. Defenders, I went Isle over John Tolkien, which was also a mistake because John Tolkien went off. I did go Jordi Alba, though. That was a good pick. My Yoshida, honestly, so last week, the week before last, I captained Benteke when he got his 0. This Yoshida pick feels worse for some reason. I almost think this is the pick that I'm the angriest about, or maybe this is my worst pick of the year, because this wasn't Wagner, this wasn't Tolkien, this wasn't Lennon. This was just such a bad pick, and I am upset about it. Got my 2 bye guys, and we'll go on to the midfielders. Evander, pretty decent haul, 15. Ricky Pooch does what he always does, big haul at 25. Ryan Gauld has been red hot recently, 23 points. Yes, please, and thank you. Lionel Messi, put the captaincy band on him. He got 40 with that, not bad at all. Danny Buwaga, 19, not bad. Gazdag got 11. I mean, this was fine. I don't really have a problem with this, to be honest. Forsberg got 17, and then once I saw that Chicho wasn't starting, I dropped him for Peck, and then Peck, of course, missed that penalty in the first game. Only got 10. I'm not frustrated with dropping Chicho for Peck, because pretty much as a rule, I don't take players who aren't starting. So when I saw Chicho wasn't starting, I didn't take him. The second game, obviously, he scored the hat trick, which is disappointing from a certain perspective. So I don't know. I'm going to talk a little bit this video about my strategy. I got 199 points, overall rank 180. I'm still kind of on a little bit of a skid down from my season high of, what was it, like 108 maybe? Week rank 835. I think I need to adjust my play style a little bit, and I'll talk about that in a moment when we're building the team. I mean, this was, the 199, I think, for the top 200 is below average. So I'm a little bit disappointed, mainly with the Yoshida pick. I think that just kind of blew my whole week up, but aside from that, this was really fine. I'm not angry about it. I'm not too upset, just a little bit disappointed. So this is just the autofill team, by the way. I'm going to go through each pick I make and look at a few players that maybe I'm not going to pick that I might have mentioned on the tier list, and just kind of go talk about my thought process while I put my current draft together. So there are only 4 games this week, and they're all pretty much at the same time. So there's not really any use in trying to do any kind of switcherooing. It's going to be an auto-roo where my bench players just, come in. I take the highest scores, basically, for a scrub. So we'll go through the goalkeepers first. I like Martin Paz a lot this week. Minnesota have so many absences. Teemu Pukki is out. Tani Oluwaseyi just got called up to the Canada roster. They're missing a couple defenders. They're missing Robin Ludd, who's their most important player in my opinion. It's thin, and they're missing Dane St. Clair as well. So I actually I like FC Dallas in this game. I've been trying recently, and I actually want to try harder in general to favor home teams, to pick players more from home teams. Clean sheets happen 2/3 more often at home. So if you're hunting a defender or goalkeeper for a clean sheet, you are 2/3 more likely to get it if you take a home keeper or defender. there are also more goals scored by home teams. This year, the ratio is actually skewed a little bit towards away players. So last year, 1.65 goals were scored at home, and about 1.03 or something were from away teams. Or that was last year. This year, it's 1.65 to 1.3. It's somewhere around there. So there's a lot more goals being scored by away teams, which is definitely interesting that's been happening. I don't really know why that's been happening, but it is something that needs to be considered. That being said, I do still want to favor home teams. Home field advantage in Major League Soccer is still a lot stronger than just about any other league. And I think probably at the beginning of this year, that was one of the first early mistakes I made, was actually just picking too many away players. I've got a bad history of doing that. And as of the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've tried to do that less. And I think as I've done it less and less, I've actually benefited from it. The other thing that I think I need to lean into more is picking players who are on set pieces, penalties, free kicks, yada yada, giving those guys more of an edge. Like if we go back to, it's so annoying, you have to hit, I can't just tab over, like I have to autofill my team or else it won't even let me tab over to team points. So this week, if I had picked players who were exclusively, or if I had given, the edge to players who were on set pieces, I would have gotten way more points. So like Yoshida, if I would have faded him for Tolkien or Lennon, I would have gotten more points. Alaba, obviously, I would have lost some points there, not a lot. And Isle, if I would have faded him again for Tolkien. So basically, if my backline was Tolkien, Wagner, Lennon, I would have gotten way more points. If I would have stuck with Chicho, right, he's on pens for Salt Lake, over Gabriel Peck, I would have gotten exponentially more points. If I would have done those 4 changes, I would have probably gotten week rank 1, I think. That's a big point swing. If we go back to some of my previous weeks, I'm not going to do it, but I've gone through the last 6 weeks and applied the same thinking. Just in all my 50-50s, like what would have happened if I would have just gone with somebody on sets, I would have gotten way, way, way more points. And you can see the guys who did well. Buanga's on pens and some free kicks for LAFC. Messi's on pens, corners. Gald's on like everything for Vancouver. Ricky Pooch did take a pen this week, although he is kind of the exception. And I'm willing to make that exception. Ricky Pooch he's just crazy. He's got the best floor in the game. Evander, pens, free kicks, right? Forsberg, free kicks, pens. Gazdag, pens, maybe some free kicks. All those guys did good, and then Gabriel Peck was the one who didn't do as good. Same with my defenders. So I'm going to try to give a major edge going forward to guys who are on free kicks, set pieces, penalties. I think just the odds of getting easier points are higher. I'm going to try to really lean into that. But back to goalkeepers. Again, I think Dallas have a good shot at keeping a clean sheet. I know I just said this whole thing about home keepers, but I like Martin Paz this week. This week's an exception, really. You can make exceptions to all the usual rules. Typically, you don't want to take a striker and a defender in a different matchup. If your striker scores on your defender, that's not really ideal. But this week, it almost kind of can't really be avoided. And the matchups are so weird. It's the defensive pool is bleak for these games. So this is an okay week to break those kind of rules. From these, again, Minnesota missing a lot of players. FC Dallas are pretty strong. They're not really very good, but their roster is about at full strength right now. I think they've got a shot. They've got a shot at the clean sheet. So I'll take Paz in goal. I'm going to take from these games, so I'm not going to take a new Ivicic from New England because I'm going to take 3 other New England players. From these matchups, I actually really like New England for this game. They're pretty much at full strength, and the Red Bulls are missing Forsberg, Morgan. They're missing a midfielder to, I can't remember, Edelman. They're missing Edelman. They're missing Isle. They're missing Carlos Coronel in goal. It's a home game for New England. I know New England have been really bad this year, but I'm going to favor the home team here. They also did pick up a win last week. I like New England for this game. I think there's a good chance. I think not maybe not a good chance, but I think there's a chance they could even shut New York out. I will say I don't see New York scoring more than once, and I actually think this is a good matchup towards New England in terms of players getting bonus points because New England do play very ball dominant and the Red Bulls play very much off the ball, so we should see some passing bonus points from New England players. That being said, I can't take Ivicic from New England. I'm going to put Ryan Mara, who is the New York backup keeper. Pretty underrated backup keeper, by the way. Do y'all remember when Ryan Mara was like really young and good, kind of an up and comer in the league? He was pretty solid for a while, but I'm just gonna watch the first half of this game. If Ryan Mara saves a penalty or something like that, that I can fade, pause. If New York has a clean sheet through half, I'm probably still not going to take Mara because I do think New England will score in this game. Unless like it's super dominant and the Red Bulls are like destroying New England or something weird and New England can't do anything, maybe I would consider sticking with Mara, but I like Paz's chances a lot better. So that's what I'm doing with my goalkeepers. Let's get on to my defenders. Again, like I said, I like New England defenders. I'm gonna try. Another thing I need to do better about is pretty much every time I've stacked a defense, aside from that one time when Vancouver shut out Austin, it hasn't worked out. So I'm gonna try to diversify my defensive portfolio and take a bunch of different defenders. So John Tolkien's another guy who is out this week. I'm not gonna take any Red Bull defenders, which I think is definitely going against the grain a little bit. I'm gonna take 3 Red Bull players. Actually, I might only be taking 2. We'll see. I'm not gonna take a Red Bull defender. I just don't like any of these guys' bonus points. If y'all have been watching recently, you know that I also am heavily favoring guys who make bonus points over clean sheet chances. I think this week or in general, I need to just kind of start putting those together a little bit more. Half and half clean sheet at home plus bonus points and maybe. Well, I'm sorry. This video is gonna be so rambly. I'm sorry. I'm already rambling. Um, it's not bonus points. I'm gonna try going forward to give the edge more to guys who have set pieces, like I was talking about. Like basically, honestly, like Tolkien, Wagner, Lennon. Like, why don't you just take those 3 guys every week? I might try that next time they're all playing in the same week, no matter what the matchups are. But for this week, I'm gonna go half and half clean sheet and bonus points. I'm gonna take a New England. I'm gonna take a New England defender. I like Kessler's bonus points the most. They have kind of fallen off a little bit recently, but home match, ball dominant team, I think he'll do all right. He was out last game, I'm pretty sure, with a yellow card suspension, so he will be back to play the Red Bulls. As far as New England defenders go, I like him quite a bit. And then if you want some offensive potential, DeJuan Jones isn't so bad either. But for general bonus points, I like Kessler over Jones. I need to take, let's see, I'm going to take an FC Dallas defender as well. From the Dallas options, Tafari for a while was doing really well with bonus points. Recently, those have fallen off quite a bit. Sam Junqua gets a lot of crosses in, actually. He does go forward some. It hasn't really materialized into any concrete points, but as far as the chances go, I do think he has the best odds of scoring well for FC Dallas. So I'm going to take him. And then the last guy I'm going to take, let's see, is I'll probably take a Seattle defender. Kansas City have been really poor recently, and they are missing quite a few players too. They're missing Tommy, Walter, mainly just those 2 guys, but their offense has been, they do always kind of manage to sneak a goal, but I just don't think, I don't think Minnesota are going to keep a clean sheet this game. I really, really don't. I'm not going to double up on New England. I don't think the Red Bulls keep a clean sheet this game. Seattle's defense is decent. I know it's a road game, and Kansas City always kind of managed to score 1, but I don't think Portland or St. Louis are going to keep a clean sheet. So I'm gonna go Seattle as my 3rd defender. Roldan, I think is the guy I like the most from these games. Just you get a little bit of offensive potential. His bonus points are about the same as Reagan, so I don't really know why I would go Reagan over him. So that's the move I'm gonna make. And then my other two guys are gonna be scrubs. I'm gonna run five at the back so I can just auto room my bench, and I'll show you how that's gonna work once I get everybody filled in. I'll put Japanese guys as my scrubs. Why not? So let's go on to the midfield. Well, and let me see if there's anything that I missed that I want to talk about. Portland, like again, if you want to go Mascara, I'm pretty sure I had him in the tier list, so I've talked about him, or Totland. Those guys have offensive potential. I kind of considered Rosero. He was in my first draft for this team, but after a while, it's just like, man, Kansas City are just been so poor recently. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I'm not feeling any of the other teams defenders at all. All right, midfielders, Evander, no brainer. Not much else to say. Carlos Hill, no brainer. Lewis Morgan. So I've actually seen a few people captaining Morgan. The argument is he's going to be on like maybe all set pieces for the Red Bulls. He's going to get a lot of time on the ball. He should actually, his floor should be a lot higher. So yeah, I'm gonna take Lewis Morgan too. And then I'm gonna take I talked about him the week before last. It was a little early, but I wanted to take Leuven not too long ago. Now is the time where he's back in the starting lineup. He's definitely a good option on set pieces for St. Louis. Then I need one more guy. Let's see. This last midfield spot is hard for me. So there's Rusnak and João Paulo from Seattle. They're both on some set pieces. Rusnak has a little bit more attacking potential, I think. Portland have Moreno, but I'm not really that interested. St. Louis have some kind of punty other midfielders. Kansas City I kind of like Memo Rodriguez. I mentioned him in the tier list. He's on corners for Kansas. Maybe kind of a sleeper bench play. Don't think I like anyone from Minnesota. Dallas, I like Illarmendi. Some for sure, but I'm gonna be tripled out on FC Dallas. And Red Bulls, I don't like anyone aside from Morgan, and New England, I don't like anyone aside from Hill. So I'll probably stick Rusnak here for now, and hope for the best. And that leaves me 3 spots for strikers. Like I said, I'm gonna give the major edge to guys on set pieces here. So I'm not interested in Musa at all. He's not on any set pieces or anything like that for FC Dallas. Not interested. J-Rod, if Evander's not on the field, sometimes he takes pens. I know a ton of people are going to be going Rodriguez this week, and I think there's a very good chance he does well. But again, he's not on sets, so I'm going to give the edge elsewhere. Klaus, so also J-Rod versus Klaus is a tough one too. Klaus isn't on any set pieces either, but his bonus points floor is really good. It's one of the best of any forward, and it is a home game. So I would give the edge to Klaus over Rodriguez. I mean, Portland's defense is so poor. There's a very good chance Klaus scores, and he does shoot quite a bit. But these two, you could really almost go either way. So, Ferreira, as far as like just set pieces go, Ferreira is up there with Bernardeschi as like the best bonus points potential from like passing and corners and stuff like that, because he is one of the few forwards who is on corners, and he's on free kicks, he's on pens, he's on like everything. So I mean, he actually splits corners with legit, but he still will take a bunch of them. So I really like Jesus Ferreira this week against that depleted Minnesota defense. I'm a big fan of him this week. I think he's even a captaincy candidate. I also like, probably got to pick. So I'm gonna go Klaus over Jonathan Rodriguez. I just think being at home gives him that slight edge, and his floor is a little bit higher. So I'm gonna take Klaus as well. And then for my last striker, let's look at the options again real fast. So Portland, Mora, Rodriguez, they aren't on any set pieces. Klaus, not any set pieces, but his bonus points floor is really good. Kansas City, I don't even know who their pen taker is, to be honest with you. Pulido and Agada's minutes are so questionable that I don't even know who'd be on the field if they got a pen. I don't know who Minnesota's pen taker is going to be. It's their fourth or third string striker, whoever ends up playing. Maybe Sangbin would take a pen. I have no idea. New England, it's Hill. Red Bulls, it's probably going to be Morgan or maybe Van Zier. I haven't even talked about Dante Van Zier. Like I said, I'm not really feeling the Red Bulls attack that much. I'm not really feeling Van Zier this week either. Maybe he would take the pen since Morgan missed their last one. But I'm not sure. Dallas is Ferreira, and then Seattle it's Rui Diaz. Okay, so from the guys I just mentioned, I think I'm going to go with Rui Diaz. Kansas City's defense is really bad. And Rui Diaz does shoot a lot, which I like. So I'm going to put him in as a bench play. Definitely not going to start him because his floor is pretty low. Always remember to hit save on your teams. So I got to stick Yamane in. Probably put him in for Klaus. That way I've got Yoshida and Yamane as my Otaru scrubs. So I'm just going to take the top two scores off of my bench. And I got to be honest, I've gone a little bit back and forth on this. I'm definitely starting Ferreira. I really like his floor this week a lot. If it's Morgan and Klaus, but I kind of want to start Klaus because I think he has a floor of 4. And Morgan's floor has been really low recently, but he's going to get so much action since he's going to be the guy this week. Klaus isn't like the guy for his team. Probably makes more sense to start Morgan. And then run this as the bench. I think that's the play. As for the captaincy, I'm going to go Carlos Hill. Just, again, like I said, I like that matchup for them. I think he's going to get a lot of touches, going to get some bonus points, hopefully a goal or something like that. So that's basically the plan here, and that's basically the plan at the moment for everywhere. This is what my team is looking like. Just to sum it up, I've got Martin Paz in goal, Ryan Mara on the bench. I've got Kessler, Junqua, and Roldan as my 3 defenders that are going to play in my back 5 with 2 other scrubs there. For my midfield, I've got Evander, Carlos Hill, Lewis Morgan, and Edouard Leuven starting. Jesus Ferreira starting as well. And then my bench punts are Rusnak, Klaus, and Raul Rui Diaz. That is pretty much going to do it for Pancake and I today. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it as always. If you did enjoy the video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. For every person who does so, Pancake does get an extra treat. That is 100% true. In fact, we're going to cut to the treat cam right now. All right, Pancake's going to show off her cool tricks. I've got 3 treats for her. She's doing the first one right now. She's sitting down. Good job, Pancake. You want a treat? Can you lay down? Lay down. All the way. That doesn't count. All the way. Very good. Good job. Good job. Ow. Pancake's not very good at receiving treats. She always kind of snaps at it. Very good. Good job. Can you say hello and be polite? Nice to meet you. Wow. Very nice to meet you. Shake my hand. Shake. Shake. Don't like shake. Good job. Very good. Here's another one. Ah. Good job. Very good. Very good. All right, can you come give me a hug? Give me a hug. Good job. Very good. Last one's the good dental treat. If you want the dental treat, you got to get in your bed. Go get in your bed. Get in your bed. Very good. Well, close enough. Here you go. Good job, Pancake. Very good.